is a young democracy with an ancient culture. Having declared its independence in 1991, just 2 years after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Armenia continues to experience growing pains. Though its capital city Yerevan is thriving, much of the country's resources stay within urban centers, leaving Armenia's rural regions to fend for themselves.
Well, Armenia was in quite a bit of turmoil at the fall of the Soviet Union. During the Soviet times, Armenians, many people feel, had it pretty good. There were steady jobs, there was stability. And when all that disappeared, the country was just left to fend for itself.
The infrastructure that was already there for decades by the Soviets overnight almost fell apart, and a new infrastructure had to be built.
Internationally, there's disparity between cities and countryside. In Armenia, the countryside and in places like Karabakh was very impoverished. All the attention of it's still a new country, shouldn't be placed on just the city or the cities. Some people feel that there should be more attention should be given to the villages, because the villages and the countryside sustains the city. And if you concentrate on those villages and have them get the attention and them get the support, and they will produce for the city, and the country will be more viable.
It was also, on the other hand, it was a time of hope to do things that under the Soviet regime was not possible. So on all levels, things kind of burst into a new beginning. And somehow the chaos fell into place and things started to move forward.
One of the organizations working to support the residents of these areas is the female-run, non-governmental organization Democracy Today. In their humble meeting space, co-founder Gulnara Shahinian and other members of the organization spoke about the group's various projects. Democracy Today was established during the turbulent years following Armenia's independence from the Soviet Union and has since been empowering women socially, politically, and economically in the nation's rural regions.
When we started, it was 4 years we didn't register ourselves, because we were like an organization that was responding to the crisis that was in country. Because we had war, we had refugees coming here, we had earthquakes, so we were like a group of women who was trying to assist in various projects. Our main goal was, through all of this chaos, protection of their human rights, access to their rights, specifically protect women's rights and children's rights. That was our specific area.
We're trying to be open, first of all, and we're trying to educate people, because as my colleagues mentioned, the most important in human rights is education. Because whenever people understand that they can have this right and they can apply this right, it becomes much easier, because after that they start to after this education, they already start to do something. They start their own activities.
Democracy Today works on a number of projects, including female empowerment workshops and anti-human trafficking collaborations, as well as conducting their own original research to further inform their work. Hasmika Dilian, a doctor and educator as well as a project manager for Democracy Today, runs a microloaning initiative in the village of Nalbanyan, located 20 miles east of the Turkish border. Today, she is checking in on some of the women responsible for planning and implementing this and projects like it. This is their cherished community space.
Լավ աղջիկները գալիս են եւ հանգստանալու նպատակով են գալիս տեղ, էլի, ասենք հիմա մենք մեր առօրյա հոգսերից կտրվել եկել, հիմա ձեր հետ ժամանակ ենք կացկացնում, այս մեր կաֆեն է, մեր բարն է, կարելի ասել մի քիչ ռեստորան է։ Հա, տենց հանգստանում ենք իրար հետ աղջիկներով շփվելով։
This space is where the magic happens. Over coffee and conversation, the women of Nalbanyan exchange ideas and work together to address issues facing their community. It is often typical of women living in these rural regions to resort to illegitimate means of income, such as sex work, while the men are away fighting at the borders or working elsewhere. With Democracy Today's help, the women of Nalbanyan find themselves with more opportunity. 14 years ago, this woman-run community received a microloan from Democracy Today. With just $100, they purchased livestock, seeds, and farming equipment, and over the years have created a sustainable agricultural economy for the whole of Nalbanyan to benefit from.
Հիմա ես իմ ծրագրի համար ասեմ, որ ես ինքս ներկայացրել էի թշնաբուծություն, հնդուշկեքի, հնդկահավերի բազմացում եւ խոչկորներ։ Նու տված փոքրիկ դրամաշնորհով գնել էի մայր խոս եւ գրել էի 5 հնդուշկեկ, մայր հնդուշկեկ։ Եվ բազմացրել էի։ Այնուհետև երբ եկան, իհարկե ծրագիրը ներկայացրեցի, ամեն ինչ լրիվ բարեհաջող էր անցել, եկան, նույնիսկ այցելեցին արտասահմանցիներ եկան, իշքան հիշում եմ, չէ՞, ժամանակ մեր դրամաշնոր տրամադրված Օքսֆամ կազմակերպությունից էլ տեսան բոլորը, ամեն ինչը, որը ինչ նպատակներով, ոնց, ինչ գումարը, ինչի համար էր տրամադրված, կերի համար, վերջը ամեն ինչի համար։
This is Alvard. She used her money from the loan to build a greenhouse, which she uses to grow and harvest cucumbers just down the road from the community center. She explained that though she is the one who tends to the cucumbers from sunrise to sunset, her sons are also involved, selling the vegetables in nearby cities. But Democracy Today isn't the only organization dedicated to improving Armenia's future.
So how is Impact Hub part of the future? We have basically created the first social innovation space where organizations, individuals, businesses come together to basically push forward Armenia in terms of social impact.
TUMO is an after-school program to learn new things, the latest technology, the latest design, 3D, music recording, and also just meeting some of the top professionals and public figures who visit Armenia. The students are phenomenal because once they enter TUMO, they become the most creative people and they are given the opportunity and the tools to create all that would have otherwise not been possible.
The women of Democracy Today, who devote their time to more than 50 villages like Nalbanyan, are fueled by their love of country. To them, Armenia is a nation ripe with potential.
Hand in hand with the technology and the advancements, there is always that underlying cultural traditions that are being put into the center of everything, whether it's a composer who is composing new music and interjecting some of the old traditional ethnic instruments, or an artist who's painting and still interjecting some of the motifs that are there. The language is certainly being preserved as much as this new generation is quite fluent in English and so many other languages. I don't see a loss of ancient traditional cultural traditions in Armenia today. I see it, if anything, being preserved and enhanced and presented in a new way.
We have to change the situation because we have this country, we haven't another country. We don't want to become a refugee. We would like to build our country, and this should be the best country in the world, I believe.
Excellent. I think we are creative and we are creators. Because whenever we go or whatever situation is, we can overcome it and we can go higher and higher, forward and forward.